Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We are going to go into our third and final game of Nada's Terran vs. Protoss for now, at least. I was thinking 3 Terran vs. Protoss, 3 Terran vs. Zerg, and maybe 2 Terran vs. Terran. Something like that for the deep dive. I think that's a pretty good balance overall. And this game he's playing against someone who is probably the strongest yet out of the games. This is Kyak. I actually don't know him, but he's about 2450 MMR, so that's really, really high. That is a very strong Protoss player. And we're on Polypoid, and yeah, we have Kyak down here in the bottom right, and in the top left, one of the greatest to ever do it. It is Nada. So I hope that you guys have been enjoying the Nada deep dive so far. Again, I definitely am. I'm enjoying some of the different ways that he plays compared to other players, because he's definitely going to look at the game in an alternate way to most of the top pros. The way that he comprehends StarCraft is just very, very different. Like, I've actually seen this. There's this great video that Jin translated a long time ago when Nada was active leading up to the ASL season that he played in, where he was getting coached by Flash a little bit, and they were talking about it, and Flash was like, how does he, like, it was basically Flash being very impressed with how smart Nada was and how quickly he was understanding every concept that Flash was talking about. And yeah, it's a great video. I've rewatched that one so many times, because you basically are seeing the 2 greatest players ever talking about StarCraft. And that's awesome. But, yeah, I guess that's, I don't know. I don't know where I was leading with that, but very fun stuff. And, you know, they definitely talked a lot about Terran vs. Protoss there, and about how to actually end up beating Protoss and things. And, you know, just the way that Nada, again, thinks about the games. One thing he actually mentioned in that video with Flash was he does entire practice games in his head. And for, you know, I'm someone who's, I've mentioned before, I actually read a lot of sports psychology books. It's just something I'm really, really interested in, as it pertains to StarCraft mostly, but, you know, I just read, like, a lot of sports psychology stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of, like, visualization things that people should do and do in sports. And I don't think it's utilized that much in StarCraft, but Nada is someone who absolutely does, like, just plays through the games in his head. Actually, another really great player that used to do a lot of those visualization things was a good friend of mine, Sem, back in the day, American pro gamer. Yeah, just kind of an interesting thing I thought you guys might like to hear. Now, looking at this, the factory, like, is going up, and he's producing the Marines non-stop, getting the 3rd depot yet, but he's got 2 SCVs on gas, which might be a mistake, or he might be setting up for something like a 2 factory. Now, he's going to deal with the Zealot, and there is another Zealot coming in, but the 4th Marine comes out, so he'll be totally fine against this. He is going to take a fair amount of damage on these Marines, but clears it pretty quickly. In the meantime, his SCV down here, you know, just harassing slightly. What? So he canceled the Nexus. Was the Nexus misplaced? It must have been. Right? Was it, like, off a little bit because of the SCV? I'm not 100% sure. It could have been a misclick as well. And obviously that is a pretty big mistake. Like, that does cost him 100 minerals. But also the time that the Nexus is making. So, yeah, definitely a little bit of a flaw there. I was like, is he preparing for an all-in or something? Because it doesn't look like Nada's doing that. By the way, Nada is really banking up gas here. Like, a lot. Throws down his command center. I am interested to see, because, you know, when you're being attacked by Zealots, I definitely have had a fair amount of games where I only take 1 SCV off gas, and it's like an accident. And then also, if you're going to do something like 2-fac, generally you take 1 SCV off and then put it back on later on. But the way he did it, like, if you do it by accident, which it looks like he did, normally what you'll do is wait to put the other 2 on just a little bit longer, because as you can see, this is like a Protoss level of gas banking, and Terran doesn't have something like the Robo that cost 200 gas, you know, plus getting into Dragoon range and stuff, right? So, like, because Protoss players have said, like, no, we like to bank 400. And, like, because the Robo is very expensive and stuff like that. Terran doesn't have that, so that's like kind of weird to see. Again, not end of the world stuff, but I do want to point out if I'm seeing little flaws here and there. I want to take an accurate assessment of where Nada's at. Not just a fanboy assessment. Laying quite a few mines here in the front. And honestly, once upon a time, I think this type of thing was okay. But nowadays, I don't like the grouping of mines this much. Unless you have some other alternative plan. Like maybe he wants these mines here so he can get his tanks up here and have them defended. There's a slight possibility of that. But generally, because whenever this happens, like Protoss just sits back and waits for Observer and then moves out. I prefer them split, right? Like put a mine here, put a mine here, maybe a mine here, you know, maybe a mine here, maybe a mine here, that type of thing. Whereas when you have them all together, it's like, yeah, his Observer will come out and he'll kill them, and it's 6 mines, and it was 2 vultures he saw, so it's like, okay, well, that's cleared. Okay, it looks to me, by the way, like this could be another 4-tank push. Very interesting to see him doing that. The eBay at a more reasonable time than what we saw in the previous game on Radeon. And exact same turret placement. Literally exactly the same 3 turrets. 1 on top of the add-on, 1 behind the bunker, and 1 on top of the command center. He is getting his second gas as well, so that is a lot of gas bank. Armory comes up. Okay, we're not producing right now. Siege is up. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's necessarily a push right now, but sometimes when you see very fast second add-on and heavy tank production like this, it'll be something like an 8-tank push. Yeah, that's like kind of an older build that we don't see so much nowadays, but that might be what he's going for here, honestly. Taking a look at it, like, it's builds like this don't get used too much anymore, where you're producing a lot of tanks early on, because it slows down. Like if you're producing a lot of tanks like this, like look, he's already got 5, he's building a couple more. This takes away from factory optimization times. So I've mentioned a lot of times, like the factories 3 through 5 should be added between 7:30 and 8:30. The earlier the better. And okay, so like he throws down a couple more here. Fine timing, nothing wrong here, but you can see, right, it's like really hard to squeeze in another one while continuing to produce. So generally what happens is you will make a few vultures and have less tanks. Like after 3 tanks, you're basically safe if you have like missile turrets, bunker, thing like that. So after 3, sometimes you'll make some vultures and then add factories and then get back into tanks, that type of thing. But, you know, the thing is, you can play it whatever way you kind of want. It's just what are you aiming for? By the way, Protoss fairly ahead on probes. Now, I think this is a decision from Nada that he's cut a few SCVs here and there. Because being down 12 is pretty bad, but if you're going to all in, it's like, okay, well, that's, you know, it is what it is. That's what we're doing. And it might be that 8-tank timing I was talking about, right? Well, I guess this is technically 9. Are we going to just see a big round of vultures? All right, 1 depot. He's going to make another depot here, probably. Okay, he is making a couple more. Damn, that is a lot of siege tanks. Yeah, this type of push that is so siege tank heavy, like, I mean, it is just kind of like a 5-fact variant, but like this type of approach of it, I feel like this was somewhat popular, like, we're in 2025. Remaster came out 2017. So it was 8 years ago. I would say about 6 years ago. This was like a pretty popular type of build. Like if you were going to do a 2-base push, you'd make a huge amount of tanks like this and then go. I don't know. He might just expand though. It's very strange what I'm watching. Like maybe this is just how Nada wants to 2-fact. The thing is, he like didn't make SCVs that much. So if you were gonna just make a command center, you probably would have wanted to make more SCVs and be okay being down a couple tanks here. No, he makes the command center. Okay. Okay. I'm down. Let's see. Kyak right now gets that 4th Nexus going. Has the kind of hidden support bay. Templar Archives is on the way. 3, 6, 8. 8 gates onto a 4th Nexus. Really, really solid play. Looks like he's maybe getting ready for a 5th Nexus here. It's a little scan to get rid of that Observer. Oh, Reaver drop comes in. So Nada running very quickly. Looks like he took just slight damage on the SCVs. And, dude, Pop and Depots is really, really strong with Reavers. Deals a lot of damage there. Oh, I like this. He actually moves them instead of being greedy and getting those 2 depots right there. He actually moved back to clear the path for his Reavers. But Nada comes in with enough Goliaths that he actually clears it pretty quickly. But that was a pretty effective drop. I actually think that that was a very strong drop. To get the Academy, 3 depots, multiple SCVs, stop the turrets, kill a few units as well. You put all that together. Look at where Kyak is at right now. 70 workers against 52, 144 to 108. He's getting his 5th Nexus. And the 3rd is just finishing. This is 2400 plus MMR play that we're seeing here. Very, very strong. Just kind of keeping Nada busy, slowing him down a bit, and getting this all set up. The one thing that we can definitely say for Nada is he has not skimped on his tank production. So as he approaches like a max supply, his army is going to be very strong. And once again, we're starting to find some patterns. This is why I like to do at least 3 games in a matchup. We're starting to actually see some patterns here. Okay, so he's going from the 5-fact, heavy siege tank production. Oh god, he started 2 academies. Oops. It looks like he wants to go science facility here. I think he probably told it to make, and then it didn't, because Terrans like that sometimes. But yeah, see? And there's the 2nd armory. So he likes the 5-factory, really heavy siege tank production, very quick 2nd add-on into 2-1. Okay, now this is good play, but if you run into someone that opens 2 gate goon, 3rd base, like 8 or 10 gate non-stop production, and then attack with, like, do a Reaver drop and then do an attack where there's like 2 shuttles, Speed Zealots, Dragoons. That is the build that counters this. Okay? Like, that is something that we don't see being done here. But, like, that is a build that can counter. And in fact, I think we're going to see Kyak attack really soon. He's setting up for a 6th base over here. He's setting up for a 7th base over here in the corners. So at this point, I think he probably wants to clear as many tanks as possible because he's maxed out. So let's see if he does that. He has a lot of Zealots. Like, this is a very, very strong play. Nada is pretty clumped. Polypoid has actually become very hard to hold on against this type of attack if he does this attack. Because, like, buildable terrain goes to here. So it's like, okay, this is buildable. None of this is, which, you know, makes it hard. Like, this edge can be really, really dropped super heavily. And also, this is a very small area, so everything gets clumped, and Psystorm works very well up there. All right, Kyak is getting ready. I think he was just kind of clearing things. He cleared the Vultures up here. He's getting his Nexuses started. 156 supply. Nada should be able to hold this if Kyak attacks. We don't know that Kyak will attack. The thing is, his army isn't going to get really substantially better quality while Nada's is. So that's where you have to kind of decide, like, ooh, do we attack an entrenched position? And I'm actually interested to see what Kyak does here, because he's obviously a very strong player. But I also kind of like, because he double expanded here and he's adding gates, like this, he really knows how to make a tough game for Terran. This is a tough thing, especially with the gate adds. I think the toughest thing to play against here would be if Kyak doesn't attack. I think most Protosses would have already attacked here, and he has not. But in my opinion, I think not attacking is super strong. And what you do is, when they come out, if it looks like a battle that you can do well, like they're too clumped or something, you go for it. If not, you run around and counterattack. And even if they go down and kill this whole base, let's say, you still have up here. And you've done counter damage, right? So I think that the way Kyak is doing this is very intelligent. Look at the amount of gates he's making. Dude, this is such high... I'm actually getting chills from this. Not from Nada. I'm getting chills from the Protoss player known as Kyak. Because I really think he's playing, like, super well. Super well. Looks like we have just a little scuffle there. And the dropship got caught by these goons over on the side. So he's got his, if I can zoom out, right? He's got his 5 base quadrant. And then he's taken both the corners. And eventually he'll make nexuses. But right now he's doing things like adding gateways and getting upgrades. Like you can see he's started air attack, that type of thing. And look at this. He's sitting in an arc and he's saying, okay, anytime I can attack, I will. So he comes in, he reinforces the siege, and he'll just trade his zealots and then run back. Look, he's about to turn around, I think. Yeah, goons pull back. See, as the zealots fall off, he pulls back. And he's just slowing Nada down. He's shaving off the front groups of tanks. What a tough game. What a tough spot to play from for Nada. It's not like he's done things wrong. He doesn't have 3-2 going. I would say that that's a little bit wrong. He just started 3-2. Could have started that a little bit earlier, but that's not the game coster or something. I really think Kyak is in such a good position, though. So the masked vulture trying to go up and maybe clear a base, or, well, probably won't clear a base, but can definitely do some damage. An attack up to 12 o'clock as Nada is trying to take it here up at 17 minutes, which is an okay timed fourth. All right, so Kyak is like definitely slowing this a bit, but not stopping it completely. 70 workers, 255. He's actually not been mining here for a long time. 2 vultures hold position in the corner, so that's a really, really good move from Nada. And he's got the 4th base up. He's going to wall it in completely. Very good choice. Still got pretty solid macro going. 3, 5, 7, 8. So the 8 factory play once again. His SCV count definitely a little bit low. It was a great job to stop some of the mining down here, but the worker count hasn't really been hurt, and honestly, his economy is just completely fine. That didn't do that much. Lots and lots of missile turrets coming up. I don't think Kyak will care about that too much, honestly, because he's getting so much income now he can trade quite cost inefficiently. And the thing is, he actually has a good chance of it being efficient as well. So throws down some storms here. Going to clear quite a few of the siege tanks. I have to be honest, this so far is a bit of a bop. Like, Nada's not dead. He's like making lots of units, and he has upgrades, and he has a lot of bases and stuff. But like, Kyak he's given Nada a set of problems that Nada has not been able to deal with here. And this is like, Nada is looking to get slightly higher level than this, than what Kyak is playing at. You know, with his 2,500 goal. Yeah, this position it's basically lost now. Like, the momentum is completely gone for anything Nada could do. He's unsieging. He's getting ready to do something here. I think the only chance that he has... Yeah, the only chance that I can see is Nada pushing to here and gaining this position. If he gains this position specifically... He can have his rally over here to defend this area. He can have modest amount of tanks and a ton of mines here. And then have this position be really strong. And from here, push to top right. He'll have to eliminate this base before it gets too mined out. Take these bases eventually and just play a war of attrition. I think that is literally the only chance that he has. A couple Stargates are going down. Where are those Stargates? There's one. There's 2. So I think we're going to see it into carriers, carrier tech time. You know, when you're this far ahead, you're getting this type of economy really rolling. getting ready for that carrier switch is very, very good because Terran still could start winning ground battles. Jesus, that's a lot of Psystorm. Oh my god. It's having flashbacks to playing Zhongbi. My god. So Kyak gonna, you know, he should end up losing this army. He should not be able to kill the command center, but he's definitely done a lot of damage to that economy. So, I mean, look at the amount of production, by the way. This is like 26 gates. No, 28 gates. Damn, 28 gates. That's a lot. It's the correct way to play, though. Kyak has actually put out such a monster game here. A monster game. Like, honestly, this PVT from him... Now, I know Nada is not right now, like, ASL level Terran. Kyak, though, the way he played, like the fundamental approach strategically of what he's done here, I think was actually better than most of the ASL Protosses. Like, I think that this was top tier. This is how you should play. Top tier. Really, really superb. Now, Kyak is just grinding things down with Psystorm. Nada is trying to push this as hard as he can. Like I said, he does need to push this base. The thing is, there's so much other income coming in. Look, he's not even done here because he's spread his probes so well. Look at this. His probe saturation is literally perfect everywhere. His bases that have, like, look at this. Look at the saturation. His bases that have been around a long time, he's really taken probes off of. So that he's getting, like, maximum mining efficiency out of his probes. Kyak is a killer, man. What the hell? Just a superb game. Unreal game from Kyak. So we're at the end of Nada's game here pretty much. Okay, he's made another command center. He's going to try to take 9 o'clock. Okay. You know, obviously you're going to need more bases. He's rotating vultures and trying to, like, prevent more bases here. Okay. I mean, good moves. You want to make sure you're not losing any more units because your supply is simply not high enough. Kyak is going to be able to just attack, move, and kill you if you're losing anything. And in fact, he probably could anyways if he gets his entire army together. Nada's just trying to set up a few mines here and there, deal a little bit of damage here and there, pick off what he can. It's got great upgrades. I actually have a lot to say about Nada's play here. And like, okay, he GG's. Because I'm like, yeah, he's been dead for a bit. Okay, so a few thoughts. I have thoughts on this game and thoughts on Nada's game in general. So Nada's game in general, I want to talk about just for a second. So it seems like he is preferring, he's like, okay, I want to go siege tank heavy. Okay. I want to go quick upgrades. Okay. Yeah, and just play like a kind of a big macro game. Okay, yeah, and this is all fine. Like, you can play whatever style that you want. So let me give some examples. Like, for instance, the Siege Tank Heavy, the fast second add-on that he was showing us, that he's been showing. Oh, that was a little bit too early. But he's been getting the fast second add-on, like each game, making a lot of siege tanks. That's kind of an older school style. It's not that there's anything like inherently wrong. Like I mentioned before, when you're spending that much on siege tanks, it can be hard to get your factory adds at a really strong time. And, you know, there's other players that are very good that are very siege tank centric. Flash is a very siege tank guy, but he's really completely full range. Like, he'll play anything. Whereas you look at someone like Sharp or Speed, they're more vulture centric, right? Like, they're much less likely to get this fast second add-on. They're more likely to have a few more vultures out on the map, trying to apply pressure that way. It's whatever. You can do whatever you like as far as that goes. But like, I think in this, okay, yeah. So I was talking about Nada's general TVP. There's a lot of good things about it overall. I think he's having very good ideas on keeping his opponent a little bit busy, creating some problems for his opponent, and utilizing those for himself for some little tempo advantages and things like that. In this particular game, like, you can see he's making all these tanks. He's got a huge siege tank count. Kyak has just done this completely correctly with the timing of everything. Nada comes up and expands, and the thing is, he's like slightly lower on SCVs than what you probably want at this time. You really want to be non-stop on the SCVs if you're going to make that extra base. But he has a certain stability granted him by the siege tanks. But let me show where I think where it went wrong. So it's like, okay, these Reavers came in. Like, already this game is becoming close to impossible with the Reavers coming in. Because he's setting up a 5th base in this time, and this is exactly what you want. The Reaver defense was not quite strong enough. You know, he's got all these siege tanks out in front, but there's really not an attack ready. And then he doesn't have the defense. It's a tricky matchup in this way, where you kind of have to try to identify what is my opponent's plan? What is he going for here? Is it a Reaver drop that's coming? Is it a mass gateway attack that's coming? And you have to kind of play against that, because even something like this, where it's like, yeah, he ends up losing the Reavers and the shuttle, and that's kind of expensive, but he's getting 5 base during this. And when your opponent throws down the 5th Nexus, you as a Terran have to decide, do I take a 4th or do I attack? You can't just let him sit 5 base versus 3 base. So, yeah, definitely still a few issues to work with. Obviously, Kyak is very, very strong. But Nada's kind of older style. Do you remember when Flash came back? He was doing upgrade Terran a lot. He was doing it so much, some of the other pros started trying it too. Everyone came out of it. No one's doing it. Upgrade Terran is not really a thing right now. Sure, you'll find a game here and there where people are doing it, but yeah, it's not, you know, that's what he was doing at the beginning of coming back. You know, you're kind of using your old play and seeing how that goes and adjusting over time. And the thing is, this isn't Nada's old play exactly, but this is a little bit dated the way he's playing. But, you know, he's going 5 fact into 3 base and stuff like that. And, you know, that's somewhat modern. But yeah. Anyways, very interesting to see. You know, this is a hard player to beat. And pros would have a hard time with this as well. With this guy. I guarantee you. All right. Thank you for watching. That's been Nada's TVP. I think we'll go into his TVZ next. See you there.